This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 1263 of Horse Tip Daily, your almost everyday morsel of helpful hints, useful facts, and practical techniques for horse folks. Brought to you today by Hyndsight Vision Systems. Greetings, horse people. Coach Jen here, and thanks for tuning in to Horse Tip Daily. Today's tip features Canadian eventer Jessica Phoenix, and she has some advice on jumping ditches, a skill that I feel is important for all horses. When you hack out your hunter jumper around the showgrounds or when you head out on an adventure trail ride with your friends, you are very likely to encounter ditches just as much as an event horse will. So knowing that you and your horse can navigate them confidently is important. And we'll get right to today's tip after this from Hyndsight Vision Systems. Hyndsight Vision Systems, offering horse owners durable, portable, wireless rear-view vision cameras with tons of versatility. Hyndsight Vision Systems' Journey line of wire-free camera and monitor systems is available in both standard and wide-angle versions. Hyndsight Vision Systems are rugged. Both camera and monitors are water and temperature resistant. Hyndsight Vision Systems are also robust, with the ability to transmit signal for up to 1/3 of a mile, and there are hardwired and wireless installation options. Hyndsight systems are versatile. You can pair up to 4 cameras with a single monitor, and several mounting options are available. Visit www.hyndsightvision.com to order yours today. www.hyndsightvision.com.
Well, the first thing I'm going to talk about is teaching your horse how to school ditches correctly. A lot of times when I'm doing clinics or lessons, when we head over to the ditch, you can see all of the riders and they start to hold their breath and get a little bit tense as you walk over towards it. So the biggest thing is, I think, just breathing and staying calm and just riding normally. So always when we introduce ditches to horses that either have ditch problems or just to young horses that have never seen a ditch before, the most important thing is holding your line, and we always just walk parallel to the ditch, both directions. So sort of widthways, you'll walk along it to the left side and then change direction and walk back along it to the right side.
Okay.
And typically we just keep the horses walking like that and not letting them look in the ditch or spook at it until they become completely comfortable with it. And then what we do is approach the ditch. We'll start at the trot and just keep a really nice, consistent rhythm. And for the rider, always thinking about keeping a positive rhythm, like not going fast and running at it, but also not coming up and holding the horse back from it.
So a steady pace is the key to that first time.
Yeah, steady pace and really holding your line, like thinking that the horse is never allowed to spook off of their line. Once they've walked onto the ditch, they have to maintain that straight line and a really positive rhythm.
Which would help you in many other types of jumps as well, for that matter.
For sure, and that's the sort of ground line for everything, right? Every single jump that you do on that horse, you have to pick your line, hold your line, and then come at it out of a nice balance and rhythmical gait.
You know, and that's even more important now that with all the skinnies, and we might want to explain what that is for people who aren't really familiar with eventing. Those are the narrow jumps that they're making them, 4 feet now wide?
They get pretty small, huh?
Yeah. I know they look smaller to you. You're jumping them. We should explain that is actually a fairly recent phenomenon. I would say within the last 10 years, wouldn't you? That they've been making the jumps that skinny, and I mean they're really 4 feet wide, whereas all jumps used to be 8 to 10 feet wide.
Right.
So that
makes that line riding extremely important.
Well, and you know, it also goes to the thing that, you know, eventing has become much more technical than the cross country than it ever was in the past.
Right.
You have to really be thinking about that kind of stuff. It used to be just, you know, run fast and jump high.
Exactly.
But now you actually have to think about run fast, jump high, and jump accurately.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. So walk both sides until they're comfortable and not shying from that ditch at all.
Right.
And only then do you make that first attempt.
Yes.
And what do you do
And,
if they shy out? If they do shy out that first time?
just never let them turn away from the jump, ever. So when the ditch is in front of you, you're holding that line, and if they try and spook left or right, you just really keep them on the line. And that's why I usually like to start out of the trot, because you can feel them start to change the line sooner.
Right.
Whereas when you're approaching at the canter, a lot of times things are just happening so quickly that the horse is past the ditch before the rider can even recognize that it's starting to happen.
Right. Or the rider passes the ditch before the horse.
Right.
Yeah. That isn't funny when it's happening, but we have all seen that happen before.
Yes.
Well, that's a great tip, Jessica. I think that's great.
Another really good note is if you as a rider feel a little bit nervous coming up to the ditch, see if you can count your rhythm in the trot as you're approaching the ditch. And what that does is, as you're trotting up to it, listen to the way you're counting. And a lot of times when you get really close to the ditch, you'll listen to the riders. They'll stop counting like 2 or 3 steps away from it.
Right.
And at that point, it indicates to you as a rider that you've stopped riding. So as you're trotting up to these ditches, try and count your rhythm and listen to yourself count, so that if you stop at any point, you can encourage yourself to keep riding and keep counting.
So your encouragement is actually to keep counting until you're over the jump.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and count the ditch as a jump, count the ditch as a step, like just another trot step.
Okay.
And also when you're landing, continue to count right through.
So you're really your own metronome when you're doing that.
Exactly.
You're just keeping track of your rhythm.
Yeah, and it is incredible when you give that exercise to riders. It's incredible the change in the horse and rider just by counting and listening to yourself count.
All right, great. Well, Jessica, where can people learn more about you? And I know you're probably still taking new students up in Canada there. Where can they learn more about you?
You can go to jessicaphoenix.ca.
Well, there you have it. You can find links to today's guests as well as lots more tips at horsetipdaily.com. Make sure to have all of your favorite Horse Radio Network shows with you wherever you go by downloading the free Horse Radio Network app for your iPhone or Android. Just go to your app store and search Horse Radio Network. It's quick, it's free, and it's easy to use. Or you can subscribe via iTunes. And thanks again to our sponsor today, Hyndsight Vision Systems. This is Coach Jen, and I'll be back again soon with another tip. So until then, go ride your horse. The Horse Radio Network and the Horse Radio Network hosts are not responsible for statements made by guests on the Horse Tip Daily. Please use your own judgment when listening to the tips on this show.